Okay, I think we're live again. That was on me.
Alive
Yeah.
on you this time. This is you.
Yeah,
All
it's
you.
on me.
All J Bomb.
100%.
What happened?
Dude, my power went out. Just bango, bango, power went out.
That sounds like a smart to death excuse.
It's not. I don't know what that means, but it was not.
It happened to him. It happened to him.
Oh,
It
did
happened
it?
to him. That's
Okay,
all I'm
no, I
saying.
didn't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
what?
And it was legit. It was
Okay.
legit. I'm just busting his chops.
I feel like my light is like super bright now.
Dude, I'm looking online right now. You see this picture of gentleman Jack Gallagher?
Yeah, I got some new tattoos.
Tattoos, yeah, big chip across his chest.
Is that what you got?
I don't know if it's gonna work because he was like kind of a cool, pasty white dude. But dude, that guy got like a shit ton of ink on his chest, on his bicep, on his forearm. Like he spent like a whole day or two in that chair.
Yeah,
We'll see.
like
Pretty
all
cool.
down his arms were new too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Weird. Okay. Okay. So where were? Oh, there we go. All right. So where were we? We were talking.
We were wrapping up the Kenny Omega and Adam Page match,
Right.
and then I was talking, and then your power went out. So I don't know where that shit cut off.
Did you keep
but
going? Oh, it cut off as soon as
Yeah.
soon as you didn't see me. Your shit was not on YouTube.
Well, that's it. But I was assuming maybe it was on my end, and if it wasn't, I was continuing, and it was more or less just stating the fact that this story was really well told, and I'm wondering now at this point, does this continue? Do we see more on being the elite? Does Kenny Omega and Page face off against the Young Bucks again? You have to think, right? The Young Bucks are going to want those titles, and they're going to come around their way soon enough. What's going to be the end game here? Will the Young Bucks turn heel? Will it be Page turning heel? Will it be Omega turning heel? Maybe Omega will turn heel with the Young Bucks. And then, oh my God, think about that though, right? The Young Bucks turned heel. They kind of were being booed like shit tonight, right? They were being booed tonight.
Yeah.
And then we have Omega, who kind of stepped through the ropes. Page had a turn of heart. He's sympathizing. He's kind of looking like a nicer guy now. Kenny Omega goes through the ropes. They're holding hands and all. But then if the Young Bucks are heel and then Omega turns as well on Page, it would be the biggest babyface pop for Page. It would help Page out so much, I think.
It would. It would. But I feel like, Page. Yeah, because you're right. Because Page sort of, he looked like he was going to do the buckshot lariat on Omega at the end of that match. And the fans seemed to be behind it. And then, Omega faced him and he kind of pulled away from it. So there was a lot of options after that match. There's a million things that could have happened. I honestly thought he was going to hug. I thought he was going to hug him. I thought he was going to bury the hatchet. And we weren't going to get this storyline for another 6 months. I thought it was just going to be buried and it would come back up. I feel like if Omega and Page turn on the Young Bucks, it would put Page over the most, rather than it just be him turning on the three of them. That's my guess, or my feeling.
No, it's a good perspective.
I am drunk.
Okay, we had Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander. You watched the match. Any takeaways at all?
Well, hold on. I gotta. Yeah, no, there were some takeaways.
The match itself, like I watched the highlights and I kind of was, eyeing it in the background a little bit.
And you know what? You probably didn't have the same amount of interest that you had going into the match because of what happened during the match.
Right.
Because let's be honest, right? We all know how that works.
But I do have to say though, Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander are two of the women on the roster who actually have more solid foundation when it comes to wrestling, right? So you think that these two are going to go out and have a great match in the ring. I saw some highlights. It looked like it was really good, that they delivered. And I thought from what I saw in terms of the highlights, it looked like a pretty match when it comes to WWE women. I'm not saying it was an awesome match, but it was a lot better than what we've been seeing. And again, fall was probably a bit tough. But, you have Statlander, who was supposed to be her biggest threat coming into this match, losing cleanly against Nyla Rose. I guess she's going to go on a tear, hold that title for a bit. It'll take somebody big to come take it away from her. But if it's not going to be Statlander, I got to ask, who's it going to be?
Well, that's key, right? We talked about this on our prediction show saying, does Nyla Rose need a title? Is she sort of the Fiend of AEW? Is she sort of the Braun Strowman of AEW? I don't like titles on big superstars. I'll call them superstars because I don't know what AEW calls them. I'm just going from WWE here. but I don't like titles on that type of gimmick or that type of wrestler. I think it hurts them in the long run, and I think that's what we have going here. Chris Statlander is one of the best women wrestlers in AEW. Nyla Rose just beat, what's her name?
Statlander.
No, the girl she beat for the champion.
Oh, Riho.
She just beat Riho to win AEW's Women World Champ, whatever it's called. So she can't lose it that quickly. And at the same time, Chris Statlander shouldn't be losing matches because she's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. She's from some other realm. JR said she was from Uranus.
JR was crazy tonight.
I thought he was crazy.
He was good, though. He was good tonight. I enjoyed him tonight.
But yeah.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yes. The match was technically sound. I thought everything I saw from it, I liked. There was no huge moments where I thought, yeah, this is very, very subpar to what I'm used to. I thought it was good. I thought they both looked great. The finish was decent. I think a powerbomb off the top rope should end a match.
Yep, they would put anybody out.
It's legit. I thought Nyla Rose sold the pin. I thought Chris Statlander sold that pin. I love Nyla's reaction. I love Nyla Rose as a champion. I just don't think that they should have put Chris Statlander in this match right now. I don't know what her future is, but it is what it is. This was definitely the filler of the night. It came after possibly, arguably, one of the better matches on the card.
Two of the best matches tonight.
Easily two of the best. And the longest match on the card as well. And the most hyped match and story-wise and all that. So, tough spot to fill. I think they did an okay job. I'm sure there's a bunch of pussies out there that thought that these people probably deserved a better spot on the card, blamed politics on them not going over as well as they should have. You name it, they've probably said it. But ultimately, I've seen people pull off good matches after good matches. And I think, naming the Young Bucks versus Omega after what we saw with Sammy and Darby.
Yeah, but the Young Bucks.
Yeah, proof right there.
Omega, like every match they pretty much have are barn burners, right?
Yeah, but dude, you don't enjoy them usually. And you enjoyed this match, and you were in agreement that it's one of their better matches they've had, and it came after what you said might be the best match of the night, which was Darby Allin.
True.
So let's be honest. It can.
Well, my big thing was like, I want to see the Young Bucks play a different kind of game. I want to see them be, on the ground. I want to see them be more technical. And they did. Yeah, they did. 100%.
I don't know if they were more technical. I just think that we talked about this in the prediction show. You said it's enough time they're going to go for it, and my argument was, it's one of those things where I think if they don't do it, it's even more cocky. Because they're cocky motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So,
anyways.
Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander, it ended the way it did. We still have Nyla Rose as the champion. The match, it was what it was.
I got to ask you, though, who is going to be the one to dethrone Nyla Rose at this point? If Statlander's not going to be the one to do it.
I don't think she's getting dethroned for a long time here. I think it's...
might be somebody new coming in who's going to be like a big force. But I have to think they're going to end up lining up Nyla Rose versus Awesome Kong at some point. So that could be the match.
I don't know what the deal is with Awesome Kong. I really don't. I mean, they dropped the whole Nightmare Collective on her.
Brandy's back to being Brandy with Cody.
And you know what? I that's a way better role for her.
Yeah,
way more believable. She was way more likable in that role than she is in any of the other crap she's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
No, it didn't. Not at all. And you know what? Awesome Kong, I don't get the hype. I mean, I didn't know her outside of here. The first time I ever heard of her was when she debuted.
She was the Nyla. I mean, I guess not. Yeah, she was the Nyla Rose of Impact.
Never saw it. Never watched it. Don't care. She doesn't do it for me. So I don't know who's going to dethrone her. I think this is going to be a long run, and I think it should be a long run. Number 2 should be a long run for that title. Not
watch them sign Kairi Sane.
Never.
And then it's just a Riho repeat.
Never. It's never happening. It's never happening. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk Cody versus Maxwell Jacob.
Right, we were just talking about Brandy, so let's transition.
There's a lot from this match to talk about. I mean, from the get-go, from the intro video, from MJF coming out before Cody, which I was surprised by. I thought Cody was going to come out first because I felt like MJF is kind of the guy who was going to be showcased here. Arn Anderson was in his corner, but it seemed like Cody had 100 people in his corner tonight. But first off, we got to talk about the obvious. Dez texted me. I didn't even pick up on it. I thought it was fake as fuck. But as the match continued, I realized, holy shit. This is the first bad move I've seen from Cody Rhodes in his career. What the fuck is that tattoo?
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm like, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to look it up. I want to see if it's fake, first of all. I want to see more details behind it. And I want to see the fans' reactions. And I thought a lot of people will be on him being like, oh, it's great. It means this. It means that. You don't know. It's a great. But dude, like 80, 90% of the people on social media are like, Cody, love the idea. Love it.
Yeah.
Love the tattoo.
Mhm.
Why the fuck did you put it on your neck
Agreed.
in such a weird spot? Yeah. You know, some people are twisting it and saying like, "Whoa, the is the one that's most important, so we put it in the artery where his neck is," and maybe that's it. And I'm sure he has his whole meaning behind it.
Okay.
And I'm sure we'll get over it. We'll grow. We'll get used to it. But for me, offhand, it looked like a weird place to put a tattoo. And offhand, like if you're gonna recover from this, I'm pretty much just like tattoo the rest of your upper body because then it'll blend in a little bit better.
Cody Rhodes is a pretty clear-cut guy. He's got nightmare over his heart. I guess that's...
Yeah, it should have been on his chest. I think it would look fucking awesome on his chest. And it does look like a nice tattoo. It says logo, right? We know
it's a beautiful logo. I love it. I bought a T-shirt with that thing on it.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I just think it's a very weird place to put it. Very weird place to put it.
I'm a big fan of neck tattoos. I really am. But I do feel like you got to be a certain type of person, and you got to have a certain type of look to accompany a neck tattoo, like similar to a face tattoo. I really honestly thought that it was just a stick-on or some paint. You know, he's Goldust's brother. That guy paints his face like a motherfucker. I figured, you know, Dustin painted him up in the back. As the match went on, it kept staying there. The way that it moved looked fucking real. The only reason why I didn't think it was real at first was because, shit, we saw him on Wednesday. He didn't have it. And it's Saturday. That's like not a lot of time. That's...
Oh, I guess a big pay-per-view. He wanted to get a big tattoo.
Yeah, but the thing is healed. Like, well, healed. I mean, I don't know what it looks like super up close, but you have tattoos. I got tattoos. I wouldn't want to be wrestling with something like that on my neck 3 days after getting it. All that color.
Yeah, but these wrestlers also wrestle with like stitches and like a Jericho, stitches in his face.
No.
Like 3 days
I'm
later.
not talking about pain wise. I'm talking about like it fucking it up. Like, you know. Either way, the tattoo, whether it's real or not, it was there. It was on his fucking neck. This was the match that I was going to bet on. There was 2 matches I wanted to bet on for mybookie.ag, and it was the Young Bucks match and it was this match because those seem to kind of...
Oh, I said Cody was going to win this one too, so I totally blew 2 matches tonight.
No, we agreed on MJF winning this, bro. We both did.
Did we? Did we? I thought,
no,
oh, yeah,
did,
okay.
But yeah, no, I was going to last second pick Cody just because the odds were decent for him, and I was going to pick the Young Bucks, Page, because they were the underdogs. But either way, this match went off very WWE style, very psychology over in-ring performance. However, MJF pulled off what he needed to pull off, and I think he looked really good in the match.
Yeah, it helps him out big time.
Yeah, the slight... There's a little bit of tension between Cody and Arn Anderson. Did you pick up on that right at the end?
I thought he was going to hit Cody with it. I thought Arn Anderson was going to be the decision maker here. I thought he was going to be the one that he doesn't hit anybody throughout the match. He kind of like threatens Wardlow. He threatens MJF, and at the end takes out Cody, and then Cody loses. And you know what? We'll probably get towards that. I bet you Cody's going to get dragged through the mud. It's going to be one of those like long stories where like he'll go up against MJF in another match, and MJF's going to win again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be because of Arn Anderson this time or something like that. And then eventually he'll beat MJF. And then eventually he'll go on to challenge maybe Moxley for the championship or something down the line, or whoever the champion is at that point. And it'll be this big story, big celebration, and it'll be awesome. But yeah, this match tonight was about kind of helping out MJF. I think he's been made one of the biggest heels in the industry just because of the feud he's been having with Cody and his rise in AEW. The match, yeah, like I said, there was a lot of WWE elements to it. On the card. So terms of the build up for this match, I didn't think it was that excellent. So it was kind of one of the ones that kind of fell a bit more. Not I wouldn't say flat because it didn't at all. I thought it was a good match, but there was just so many great matches on the
Mm-hmm.
card. The busting open of MJF, I don't know what caused
Me
it,
neither.
and you saw the ref hand the blade, so that was done a bit clumsily. And then I also didn't like the no sell of the two crossroads at the end. He crossroads him twice, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I breaked out of it," and he busts him with the ring. But I did like the ending. I think the ring was cool. They played into that, and it does a lot for MJF. And Cody Rhodes doesn't necessarily need
No.
it. He's one of those superstars that can lose and rebound from it. So it's all fine.
Cody Rhodes losing this match, I still think that he walked out of that arena better than MJF walked out of that arena. Because let's be honest, Cody Rhodes is the Triple H to AEW, right? He's the guy
Sure.
who's the Young Bucks are great. Omega is great. But the real star power that went to New Japan and really tied together the elite was Cody Rhodes. Yes, Chris Jericho brought that legitimacy to AEW, but without Cody Rhodes, I don't think All Out would have happened. This is before Jericho, right? And I think Tony.
AEW wouldn't have happened without Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
So Cody Rhodes being who he is and going
What a guy.
and picking that fight against Triple
Right.
H from the get-go puts him in a weird situation. Because Triple H, everybody thinks, he writes himself into championships. And he books himself as a winner. And Cody Rhodes can easily book as a winner. He went out. He did what he did with Wardlow. He took the 10 lashes. He's not allowed to participate for that championship. He lost to MJF tonight. This guy is setting himself up to actually be well received when he finally wins that title. And you said that he's going to beat Moxley. I don't think he's going to beat Moxley. I think that
Well, he's almost being smart selfish though in a way. Like he's playing this is the long game.
Is a very
this
long
is
game.
the long game we've been looking for, right?
What's interesting is that we're talking about the Young Bucks before being smart selfish without winning. However, they still kind of somehow come off cocky by not winning tonight. But Cody doesn't. Cody looks great not winning tonight. He looked like a million.
Cody's good on promo.
Cody's so good. Let's be honest.
Young Bucks aren't good on promo.
They're going to eventually win it, and no one's really going to care when they win it. But when Cody wins it, people are going to care.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
Oh yeah, it'll be
I think this is going to go for a really long time. I don't think John Moxley is going to be the champion by the time Cody finally picks it up. But Cody Rhodes looked like $1 million. I thought Brandy. We've completely forgotten about the Nightmare Collective at this point. I thought
I haven't.
Well,
I was scratching my head and saying, where has she come from the Nightmare Collective to now? But then as soon as she jumped onto Wardlow, I was like, oh,
that
snap.
was nice, right?
Yeah, and I was like, what's he gonna do to her?
Yeah, I thought she was gonna take it.
I honestly loved when Cody was a heel on the circuit, working with Brandy, and Brandy would always eat it,
and he wouldn't care.
So, yeah, I look forward to that day coming back.
But
again.
yes, no, like Cody Rhodes. All that aside, that entrance was absolute horseshit. That band, like I'm a musician.
They played his theme.
That song,
and you love his theme.
I love his
right?
theme.
You always say how much you love that.
The
theme.
new stage played into his entrance really well. It looked great. He popped up, he emerged, and then a screen rolled up, and it seemed like, I mean, I don't know if they're the actual guys who sing that theme, but if they do, they sound a hell of a lot better in the studio than they do live. Or just the feed.
It's like the DX band back in the day.
It was worse than that. Like way worse than that. It just didn't sound good at all. But Brandy kind of brought her charisma to it, and she was singing along to it as they were coming down. And I thought that it looked like a real fight. It had a big fight feel because of everybody who came out with Cody. MJF played it really, really well. Wardlow, I felt like, was a non-factor other than catching Brandy, but he just kind of, I mean, I don't even know who this guy is. He lost in the steel cage. Regardless,
I feel like he's Decon Batista right now.
I don't even know who Decon Batista is, so
it's Batista. But when he came into the WWE, he was Decon Batista, and he was like, Devon's bitch.
Oh, wow.
Devon Dudley's single wrestler. He was Devon's
That's
bitch.
some low shit. Because I didn't even know Devon was a single wrestler ever. So
he was a priest.
That's below.
Testify, motherfucker.
But yeah, no, ultimately the match was what it was. It was what to be expected. What I did like about it was he did use the ring, but he pulled the ring out about like 4 or 5 minutes before he used it. So he had that ring on his hand for a little bit of time. And then he finally got the punch off. I thought that was interesting. The no-sells were
it looked
weird.
good.
They were weird.
It looked good. Cody took it good. Getting was fine. I just didn't like the whole, double crossroad. It's like there's these segments where like they'll be talking on the mic, spitting a promo, and this happens at WWE too. They'll hit their finisher, and the guy's laid out like for like 10 minutes. And when they finish the segment, the guy walks to the ring. This is a finishing move. He hit it twice on MJF, and then when he goes for the third time, all of a sudden MJF snaps out of it. But I guess they kind of did it in a way that's like he snaps out of it for a brief second, hits the ring, then kind of like passes out again on top of it, right? So it's kind of like just pulled out of it for a split second just to knock that punch
because
off.
it wasn't like a huge strike, and he did kind of fall onto him for the pin, which is all right. Either way,
he bit his foot. He bit his sock.
That was good. I like how they played into that.
MJF's good, man.
It was a good match. Definitely what I was expecting from this match. We called it 100%. MJF had to win that. Whether it was dirty or clean, we had said that we wanted it to be completely clean. I guess this is as clean as you're gonna get with MJF.
Yeah, from a heel, I guess so. Yeah.
But ultimately, I think that this pushes the storyline. Whether they continue with this directly,
they will. They
don't even have to. Honestly, they don't. MJF can go on to the next guy and say, "Fuck, I beat Cody Rhodes."
Well, that's what he's gonna try to do. I think that's the whole thing. He's going to go through and he's like, I had it. I beat him. That's it. I have nothing else to prove. And then Cody's like, we have some unfinished business. And we're going to face each other off in like a no disqualification match or some kind of thing.
I don't think it'll be a no DQ. That sounds so WWE. Maybe. Oh, did you see the announcement for Dynamite with the 2 rings under one cell?
It's not War Games, but Blood and
Guts. But that is the real War Games. I guarantee you they will have a cell that has a top to it.
They said it was. They said it was a closed cell. Yeah,
that is War Games.
March 25th, guys. There you have it. Blood and Guts.
Yeah, Vince is going to be.
Is that going to be on
a?
Is that going to be at a pay-per-view or is
Dynamite.
that going to be? Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Very good.
Maybe it'll be for like a #1 contendership or some shit or what?
Could be for a title. Could be for the new mid-card title. I mean, who fucking knows?
Could be.
I like how they threw it in there.
They do that, eh? They throw in these little surprises during the show.
And they didn't talk about it too hard. They didn't tell me about it.
Just slip it in there.
I loved it. Anyways, Cody Rhodes. God, I'm drunk. MJF. Really good match. This pay-per-view is really good, dude. Really good.
All right, let's talk about this one. It was fun. We had a speculation on how it was going to play out. We had Pac against Orange Cassidy with Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta on the outside. What did you think about it overall? I thought it was pretty cool. The fans were eating it up with a spoon. I thought it was great. I love the fan interaction. I thought it was a little bit too much on the fans' end, like fight forever and I'll suck your dick because you're AEW. But either way, was cool to see him start wrestling and actually bust out some cool moves. When he gets going, he gets going. He's pretty innovative and he's pretty fast at what he does.
Yes, 100%. I feel like this match nailed it. This was a delicate match. It could have gone either way. I know what you're saying about the crowd, but I think they were doing it ironically. And I think that's why it worked. When they were saying fight forever, this is awesome. When they were doing almost nothing, it was somewhat ironic and at some point still kind of relevant. Because
no, I feel like the fans actually believed it. It felt like they were this is the best shit we've ever seen. No, man. It was. I hope not. Because it was like kind of funny at first, but then it's like, okay, guys.
I thought it was a good crowd tonight. I really did. I think they respected.
I think so too.
Yeah.
AEW crowd's great. AEW crowd is great.
Honestly, I think we talked about it on our prediction show. If there is a match for Orange Cassidy to have, this was the perfect opponent for it. And
yeah, that is one of my notes here on my paper. It is Pac. You guys loved Orange Cassidy tonight, and I thought he was great tonight. But he wouldn't be as great tonight if it wasn't for Pac. Pac did a fucking great job at helping him out.
That guy's a fucking superstar. Let's be honest. God, WWE, you were an idiot. Neville with a cape? What were you thinking?
He's in my top 20, for sure.
Neville's up there. Orange Cassidy looked good when he had to. He took a fucking beating. The bastard, he was funny when he needed to be, serious as balls when he needed to be. We didn't see his finisher, the move from the top. That's the only thing that I was disappointed in. I really wanted to see it because I wanted to show my buddy what it was all about. But he made Orange Cassidy tap out, which I thought was interesting.
I think that was the point they kind of wanted to make, that he did end up giving up. And we saw a few glimpses of, like, at one point he hulked up, or not hulked up, but broke out of being Orange Cassidy and actually became a normal wrestler briefly, and came very close to beating Pac. It's some pretty nasty DDTs, one big one off the top rope. Came very close to beating him. And yeah, he did an air raid siren tonight too, which you don't see very often.
What's that move?
It's Google it. I mean, I don't.
What is it called?
Coming. It's just air raid siren.
Air raid siren. Let's see what this is. Well, they're giving me a YouTube video. So air raid siren wrestling. Let's see what that is. Jerry Lynn. Oh shit. Okay, yes. Isn't that what's his name's move?
It used to be, well, Jerry Lynn used to use it a bunch.
Yeah, but didn't Sheamus use this? Looks like
well, yeah, it kind of like the white noise that he does a little
similar.
bit. Yeah.
Either way,
it's similar to it.
I feel like they blended comedy with pro wrestling really, really well here. It was delicate. It was another one of those delicate matches, and to see Pac in here, you would think from his track record he would be pissed.
Well, with Enzo, right? Yeah. He was like, I'm not losing that guy. And he lost to Enzo, and he said, peace. I'm getting that fuck out of here, and I'm not showing up. And he ran out his contract with WWE, and he also had the issues with Hangman Page in the beginning, where, like, he was going to lose the page, so he walked from his initial AEW deal. So he definitely knows what he's worth, which I respect the fuck out of. But at the same time, that's why I was, like, so certain you knew Pac was going to win this match.
Honestly, Pac could have lost this, and it would have been okay.
Or some shit. Like some kind of roll up or something.
Like a roll up or a weird move or the best friends getting involved. But either way, it was just, honestly, I'm not going to call it. No, I will. For what it was, this was a masterpiece for Orange Cassidy.
No.
Dude, how could it have been any better?
Not a masterpiece. I think Orange Cassidy is like, because, like, you watch old matches of him on the indie scene, right? And he actually used to be a wrestler. Like, he wouldn't do this slothy stuff. And then he started doing this slothy stuff, finding ways to kind of integrate the two together.
He got himself over, bro.
And I find he's going to have his niche. And I'm not going to shit on this match tonight. I think it was a very good match. But I think he's going to start learning what can work, what he can do, what he can't do. And I think there'll be better ones than this in the future, which is a good thing to say. It's not necessarily saying that this was shit. No. I think he'll take this, learn from it, and we're going to end up seeing some pretty cool matches with him in the future to come.
I'm not saying this is Orange Cassidy's greatest match. I'm not saying this is Pac's greatest match.
It might be his greatest match in quite some time.
I'm saying the introduction first of all, Pac came out first, which I thought was a huge thing. So Orange Cassidy was the attraction to this match. So Pac really was, putting his dick on the line here. Pac coming out on top without burying Orange Cassidy, really well done. Orange Cassidy coming out without burying himself, really well done. AEW took a comedy act, brought that into the match, and at the same time made it a pro wrestling match that we could all respect and enjoy. And everybody walked out looking like $1 million. That's why I'm calling it a masterpiece. This was a great way to introduce Orange Cassidy as a wrestler in AEW. I don't think he could have had a better debut match. I really don't.
I don't know. I was expecting a little bit. It started off really cool. He did some cool things here or there, but overall, like, I know I'm being hard on this one. I expected a little bit more out of it. Like, I'm going through the card right now, right? And, like, if we look, I'm not going to count the pre-card with Dark Order, but Jack Hager, Dustin Rhodes, Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander, Pac, Orange Cassidy,
Dude.
MJF and Cody was good, but there was, I felt like how much they spent time building off MJF and Cody, how immense it was. The payoff wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But
that was not the payoff. That's the beauty of it.
No, I know it's a long game. It's a longer game. But this match being like step 1 of 3 in their feud or whatever, like, I don't know, like it felt like it could have been a little bit better. So that's kind of why I felt like I've watched AEW pay-per-views where top to bottom it was just like fucking nailed it out of the park.
Yeah, but
and I felt like there was one or two matches on the card that.
Okay, when we go back to Double or Nothing, because I mean I don't know if you will agree with this, but I find Double or Nothing was their best pay-per-view. There was no storylines. There was no TV. There was nothing to prove. It was one match and done. It was
but AEW tells their stories in the ring.
Yeah, they do,
the time,
and they told it on the road twos and being the elite. This is something that's I just feel like if you're going to compare it to a WWE pay-per-view, even one of the major fours. The fact that this is Revolution, the first pay-per-view we've had in 4 months, you think this is the payoff of Cody and MJF, and it wasn't. It kept going. And then the follow-up match was Orange Cassidy's debut. That they followed MJF and Cody, which was what you said. It was one of the more hyped-up matches, and they delivered. I wasn't bored. I mean, yeah, okay.
No, I wasn't either. I think I'm being harder on the MJF one. I think that one was good, but I'm just saying top to bottom, they weren't all matches that kind of nailed it. Jake Hager, Nyla Rose, Pac and Orange Cassidy. It was fun. It was good. I guess it was good. Maybe
I will agree with
night.
Pac. With Jake Hager and Goldust, it wasn't that great. Nyla Rose, Chris Statlander wasn't that great, but Orange Cassidy and Pac. I can't expect anything more from these two. Like,
I guess with what Orange has to work with, right?
Not even. I bet you he could have put on a way better match. I look at this guy like kind of like a Darby Allin kind of guy. He could do some really crazy stuff when he gets going, but his persona is to be laid back.
The rolling out of the ring thing was funny. It was kind of like, when you used to play like WWE Raw or Royal Rumble on Super Nintendo, and you used to like roll up and down the ring. You have to roll up, roll down, roll up, roll down.
I just thought that Pac, being as serious as he is, in and out of kayfabe, he was a really good sport, and it made him look.
The kicking in the beginning was kind of stupid.
Yeah, it was, but I like how Pac returned it. I like how he returned it. He was like, "Fuck your shit," and then he beat the shit out of him. Anyways, let's move on to the main event. Let's wrap this up with AEW World Championship match. We got Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho. First and foremost, I don't feel like this pay-per-view represented Inner Circle very well. I feel like...
No, it didn't.
Yeah, Jack Hager came out, nobody. His own theme song, very odd. Sammy Guevara came out, his own theme song, no Inner Circle, very weird. When John came out, he had LAX with him. When Chris Jericho came out, had LAX with him, but Jon Moxley had a cooler entrance. Jon Moxley looked like the superstar.
It's like start in the street. That's only like start in the street, Jon Moxley.
But it worked. The match itself was what you were expecting. It's a WWE match. They're both WWE guys. It was good. I don't agree with the decision on this. I think it's a horrible move for AEW.
You think it should have been a longer game? We talked about that. How like they should have Jericho win, use Inner Circle, then maybe at the next event, finally Moxley wins the championship.
No, I don't think Moxley should ever be the champion. No,
really,
I don't.
Why?
Well, okay, maybe he could eventually be, but I don't think he should be following up Chris Jericho. One reason, he's just a WWE guy. So I think it's weird.
Right.
Two, he's unbeatable. He's really unbeatable. And he's a good guy. So his unbeatableness is not because he cheats or because other people kick the shit out of people. It's because he's unbeatable. And that's gonna hurt the title.
Well, you might also have him like run for so long that eventually he turns like heel, right? You could have maybe like 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, maybe in a year, Cody ends up kind of challenging once again. And at that point, like, who do you cheer for? Moxley or do you cheer for Cody? And then they can kind of start turning Moxley towards the heel, right?
Maybe they can. I mean, I wouldn't put it past AEW. Maybe they start doing some sort of thing where Cody starts calling Dean Ambrose a WWE guy.
I want to see a face versus face match. Just a good, straight old school 1980s WWF style face versus face match.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's like decisive faces and heels in AEW. I don't know. There's something about Jon Moxley being the champion right now where, I don't know. There's just something about it that's like, you better have a good plan, guys. You better have a good plan because, I mean, if Jon Moxley just comes out and faces somebody else or faces Jericho again, I mean, the guy's a loner. The guy doesn't have anything that can, feel similar to the vibe that's going off. We have the Inner Circle, who could be completely ruined at this point. If Chris Jericho is taking time off, Inner Circle is dead. Dead. I don't care if Jack Hager won. They're dead if Jericho's not there. They're not interesting.
Yeah, they definitely will take a hit. I have to imagine Jericho might stick around for a bit, but if he takes time off, what happens at this point, right?
I think it was a bold move from like a creative perspective. I'm not even going to say what fans think. I'm just going to say what I think. I think it's lame that Dean Ambrose is champion number 2. I really do. I think that we were told, hey, this is going to be different. This is going to be not where you're used to. And it just looks like they're like, hey, our biggest name is Chris Jericho. He won. And I got that. And I accepted that because I thought.
He did a good job.
And I thought, this is what we need to keep the dream going of an alternative to WWE. You need the big name. The second runner-up being the second biggest name in AEW. I don't know.
And an ex-WWE
No, that's
guy,
what I mean.
right?
Yeah, the second biggest name in AEW being another WWE guy. Like, it probably would have been better off on Cody Rhodes than it would have been.
Yeah, let's talk about that entrance Jericho had too, right? He had the choir out there. Jericho's on Twitter tonight saying like it was the best entrance he's had in 30 years. I like the whole choir thing.
Not a good statement.
Yeah, but I don't think it was good. I felt like I don't know if they didn't have time to prepare. Seems like everybody kind of was excited to be there and kind of doing their own thing. And you had that maestro there. There's a maestro there who's like that guy who was just all over the place. I would have loved to see Jericho. I would like to see Jericho come out and sing that song. But whatever. It is what it is. You have your new champion, Jon Moxley. Got a very nasty cut over his eye. It looked like a little gut was hanging out there, a little flappy flap on his eyebrow. At one point, he stopped bleeding, and you saw him flick it a bunch of times, and then blood started gushing out again. So he knew how to work his own cut. That's how many, I guess, hardcore matches Moxley's been in his time. I'm not totally against it. I think Moxley will turn out fine as a champion, but I do think I agree with you the fact that having ex-WWE guys as your 2 champions and to start off the promotion, bit questionable. Maybe they should have pulled the trigger on Adam Page earlier on. Maybe they should have went in a different direction, and we'll see what goes from here. And then Cody wins, right? Cody wins next, let's say. He is an ex-WWE guy as well, too,
yeah,
right?
but he doesn't feel as ex-WWE as those 2 guys. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Because they were champions I guess. In WWE. They were like major players over there. I don't know, man. Like, the match was really good. I'm not saying
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad by any means at all.
I mean, it really comes down to, like, okay, we've talked about this on the podcast, like, weeks ago, how when we were younger, a new champion would emerge and, you would wake up the next morning and life would feel different. I think Jon Moxley is going to kind of do that in a sense, because I'm thinking like, wow, what's Wednesday going to look like now? We're so used to the Inner Circle and Jericho and him being a heel champion and kind of being somewhat of a coward. Now we have Moxley, who's a badass. It's just, I don't know who's in line next. I mean, who's in the championship picture in AEW?
Well, that's also it. It's like, who does he go on to face now? Is it Pac? Is it going to be against another face? Is it going to be against Cody? Is it going to be against Omega? No, Omega's got some shit going on. So I don't know. I have to think, like, just to buy them some time, to wait till somebody else comes in, to build some storyline. I have to think Jericho's going to get a rematch or something.
I'm feeling you on that.
I know they're all against these whole, like, points and rematch thing, but then again, they totally contradict that sometimes and give people rematches and championship matches. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, let's break it down, right? So Cody Rhodes cannot face him if we're going to be dealing with, AEW storyline.
Unless maybe this blood and guts match is a number 1 contendership match and they end up putting him in it.
Even then, though, he shouldn't be in there. He shouldn't be ever able to compete for it. So he shouldn't be in there. Chris Jericho could be a rematch, but if you've listened to AEW and what they've put out there, he shouldn't be getting a rematch. Where does that leave? Kenny Omega is another, top talent in AEW, but he's intertwined with a feud with Adam Page and the Young Bucks, so he's not going to be involved.
Nope, not at least for now. I think we'll get Cody versus Omega like a year from now.
Yeah, no, for
I think
sure.
that'll be like the championship match.
But really, other than that, I mean, I don't know who is even in the high card. Like, is Sean Spears going to come back and face Dean Moxley? But again, I look at Sean Spears as a WWE guy. Like, this is sketchy for them, man.
Yeah, you gotta think like where they're gonna go from here. It's definitely gonna be a reason to tune in. That's at least for sure because I want to know where it's going. There was this era that we had with Jericho, and now it's changing to Moxley. We'll wake up, like you said, that feel that things are different, and where he's headed is going to be a big question mark.
Yeah, because Jericho was a guy who had a group around him, so you knew kind of what was happening every episode on Dynamite, where he was going to come out with his faction. There could be multiple segments that involved that title because, if one of his faction members was in a match, Jericho could be featured and he could be talked about and commentated about. Now we have Jon Moxley, who is a complete loner. He doesn't even come in through the regular entrance. This guy's kind of like how Sting was in WCW. And I don't.
Well, it's like he's doing the Shield thing. He comes to the crowd.
Yeah, he's doing the Shield thing. You're right.
Let's go even further. Let's not put him in the crowd. Let's put him in the street. He'll come out from the street. He'll just stand there and come in through the street.
It's a tough one, that's for sure. I don't know how they're gonna go forward. And
well, here's an interesting theory. Not theory, but it could be cool. So Moxley has been lining up to have this big epic match with Minoru Suzuki from New Japan Wrestling. And if you guys don't know who this guy is a fucking like strong style times 100. This guy is the guy on your bucket list. If you're a wrestler, New Japan, you got to wrestle this guy. He's the same guy. He's a guy with the weird haircut. You got like weird, like I guess shaves through his hair. His hair is all patchy. He's the one who beat the shit out of Asuka. He's had all kinds of
beat the shit out of Asuka
matches.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
there was a match where he had with Asuka where it was disturbing. So he's going to be taking on Suzuki, but apparently for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship or whatever, U.S. Championship or whatever it is. It's the U.S. Championship. And dude, I'd love to see him put the AEW Championship on the line, man.
Well, they probably will, but he's. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they've fucked themselves with Jon Moxley here. Like, it's great for tonight. It's great for tonight. Great story. But how can you move from here? If he does face Suzuki, okay, so he's scheduled to face Suzuki, is what you're saying?
He is. I don't know an exact date or something, but he's supposed to because when he last fought in New Japan, Suzuki ended up coming out and like attacking him after, and there was a whole confrontation. So he's supposed to be defending his championship soon, and there may be a date in 2020 where he is. I'm just not looking and researching right now, but I know that's where they last left it. And since he's defending his United States Championship, I don't see him, so to speak, having another title on the line. But if anybody could beat Moxley, if anybody's that hardcore, that strong style, that badass, I think that could be the guy to do it right now. I think it comes down back to what we were saying in AEW. Who's going to be the guy to do it? Who's going to be the guy to challenge him? There's just nobody outside of like Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes can't do it right now. So we'll have to wait and see.
Fucked, man. I mean, unless that's a way to introduce a relationship between AEW and New Japan, but I don't want a relationship. I mean, we talked about this before. There's been rumors that AEW and ROH might have some sort of relationship. Marty Scurll might be able
Marty Scurll, right? Yeah.
I don't mind if a guy, like, one guy can come in and fight in multiple promotions. I don't. New Japan and ROH, when they were dealing with the Elite over the last few years before AEW was a thing, yes, it was awesome. It was great. We got to see pay-per-view matches in Japan, pay-per-view matches in US, including all these guys that we love to watch in AEW now. But I'm over it.
I think Moxley in New Japan was my favorite Moxley.
Moxley in New Japan is great. I don't mind him going over there. I just don't want to see a full-fledged partnership between two leagues. Like, let's look at what was his name? Cena? What's the Asian dude that fought Omega? He was here. He was from the OWE or OEW.
SEMA.
SEMA. Okay, where is AEW's relationship with them right now? It's gone. That was like a big part of the launch of AEW. It's Shima, right? That was his name. It's over. We don't hear about them at all. They were included in tag team matches. It's gone. AEW is completely 100% standalone at this point, and I think that's how they have to remain.
I think now that they realized they could, they were like, peace.
Yeah, I agree with that. OWE, OEW, whatever. But if, John Moxley ends up defending the AEW title for Suzuki's New Japan United States champion or Intercontinental champion, whatever the hell it is, and that's sort of the introduction between a relationship between AEW and New Japan, I think a lot of people are going to cream their pants online, but me personally, I'm not for it. I don't want it.
And you got to wake up at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning to watch it.
No, but even if they're doing it on American time, you know what? If you cannot create storylines that are compelling and that make sense within your own organization, fuck you. That's it.
And fuck the revival.
Fuck the revival. Either way,
cool.
There's a lot of questions to be asked. There's a lot of things that could come out of tonight. Who knows what's going on?
A lot of it might be answered next week on AEW Dynamite, but definitely interested to tune in. We got a new AEW champion, guys. John Moxley defeated Chris Jericho tonight to win the championship. We got a whole new recipe ahead of us, a whole new feel, a whole new vibe. And, man, I'm excited to see what happens next for John Moxley and for AEW.
I'm surprised he made it through this podcast. I'm inebriated.
A lot of shit's happened, man. We've been drinking. We've been losing power. We've been dropping in and out. We've been talking shit. We've been walking around in circles. But, here we are, man. It's fucking fun.
I have no idea I'm going to get this on Patreon. I don't know. I got to, there's going to be a huge gap in your audio and my audio because...
Future Jay's problem.
Future Jay. Okay, so patreon.com/talkmania. You will get this tomorrow, Sunday, which is still pretty decent, right? I don't think I have to upload it right now.
It's good.
Right? You're not going to hate me if I don't upload it right now?
I'm not going to hate you, man. I'm ready to get off this shit and go play some Apex.
Oh, I'm going to jump on Apex too. You want to go play?
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
All right. Patreon.com/talkmania. If you want more content like this, subscribe. $1 a month. That's all we're asking. $1. Go get a dick pill. BlueChew.com. Promo code Talkmania.
Talkmania.
Manscaped.com. You want to shave your cock? Talkmania.com. That's coming in March. But we're kind of letting you know about it right now. Dez, I appreciate you putting up with my bullshit tonight.
You weren't as bad as I thought you were going to be. I thought you'd be a lot more sloppier. You're
Look
all right.
what my tongue is.
You're right. That's gross.
I have no water in my body. I'm dehydrated as fuck. Either way, Dez, let's go play Apex. On behalf of Talkmania, J-Bomb's out. Dez.
Happy Rusev Day, Moxley Day, all that shit.
Penis.